Hi, let's talk about how to analyze the Cardpool problem using some utility theory. So we see a wide variety of card valuations at Cardpool. Some retailers, like Target and Walmart, their cards trade about 2% below face value. But some specialized stores, such as, and I can't even pronounce this store, Zumiez and Build-A-Bear, which sells stuffed bears, trade at a 20% discount. What's going on here? Well, there's a lot going on, and some of it's entirely outside of utility theory or consumer theory, but consumer theory does give us some insight into this problem. Let's think about a consumer who has $100 prior to receiving any gift card. Let's suppose there are two goods, one of which is like the gift card good and the other is all other goods. Let's suppose each of the two goods has a price of $1 per unit. So this is a pretty simple setup. Now, let's suppose that the initial allocation, that is the way the individual would allocate his or her money in the absence of a gift card, would be mostly over to AOG, and only a quarter of the spending would be on the gift card good. So we see that in this diagram here as this blue indifference curve tangent to this gray budget constraint, and there's the initial choice with 25 units of the gift card good, 75 units of AOG. All right, then what happens? Well, then the consumer receives a gift of $100, a $100 card, I should say, that's good only at that particular store, the store whose product is measured on the horizontal axis. Now, we could say with this consumer, given their preferences, that if the consumer had received cash, $100 in cash, rather than a gift card, he or she would have chosen 50 and 150. That is 50 units of the gift card good and 150 units of the AOG. But that's not possible with the gift card, because what the gift card does is it shifts the budget constraint over parallel, and then we see this region over here, and basically what the individual has as a possibility, the best possibility they can choose is this point here, with 100 units of the gift card good and 100 units of AOG. So that is to say, the gift card brings the consumer to the maroon utility function, and the highest point attainable is this point right here. Well, now let's ask the question, how much cash would the consumer require in exchange for the card? So what we're asking here is, suppose we made a parallel shift in the budget constraint from the gray one they started with up to some budget constraint that would allow them to achieve this level of utility, the gift card level of utility. And this one here, not quite sure what color that is, but this one here is what happens when you shift the original budget constraint out parallel, which is equivalent to giving cash, until we just touch the utility, or the indifference curve rather, that has the utility level associated with having the gift card, right? It's the same utility level here as here. Well, the question is, how much money is that? The answer, of course, is going to be less than $100, but we can see it specifically right here. It's this amount of money. If you just threw this amount of money from here down to here at the person, they could achieve the level of utility equal to the level of utility they achieve with the gift card. What's important here is this is less than $100. If you gave them the full 100, they'd go all the way up to here. That is, their budget constraint would, but you don't have to give them a full 100. In other words, in short, this person would rather have, it looks like about $75 than a gift card that says $100 on it for this one particular store, Build-A-Bear or Zumiez or whatever. That's what this looks like when a recipient gets a card that would have him or her spending more at that particular store than they'd like to spend. Now note, it's kind of interesting. This is a person who does do some spending at that store. It's just that with the card, given the value of the card, it would have them spend more at that store than they would have liked to spend, given basically the implicit wealth they would have with both their initial wealth plus what's on the card. So that's what this looks like. The issue is a recipient gets a card for a store and they wouldn't have wanted to spend as much as the face value of that card, plus how much they initially spent at that store, given how much they like that store. You can imagine the analysis would be rather different if this person tended to spend most of their budget at the store where they got the gift card. Now, thinking of the examples in the Cardpool list, there are stores that sell many different things that people purchase, like Target and Walmart, and so a larger share of the budget gets spent there, versus specialized stores that occupy a very small share of most people's budget, like Build-A-Bear or whatever, particular shoe stores or something like that. And that's why I think the resale values are pretty high for stores that sell a wide range of items, including items that collectively make up a large share of the budget for most people. Whereas stores that are highly specialized and that many people don't spend much of their money at, those don't seem to hold their value well. People would rather have less cash than the face value of the card than the card itself. That's how utility theory helps us understand the Cardpool example and many other things.